Hello out there, YouTube, and welcome to another night of PE Slick Podcast. I'm your host, Ranger Matt. Tonight is going to be a night full of Toastmasters. All three of these gentlemen I've interviewed in the past are people who I'm sure you'll love. And I'm bringing some more right now. Got one more who's going to come on in a few, and a possible guest star. I'd wait and see. So here we go. Let me see. There's one. And there's two. What's up, fellas?
Hey!
Dominique Brightmon in the house.
Oh man, nice time, Dominique. Nice.
Oh boy. All right.
Slick, where's your hat, bro?
I'm
gonna take this thing off. Wow. Oh, you know what, Fudge? I'm gonna keep it on. Shoot. It's gonna be fun in the bun.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's right. The chocolate samurai is in the building.
Oh my gosh.
God,
you know what? You know what? I do have a hat. Hold on. Let me go
All
get
right.
it.
Gotta get
Pull
a
out
hat,
the Ranger Mad hat.
Oh, wait a
That's
minute.
right.
Wait a minute.
I gotta blame Shawn for this one though, because this wasn't even planned. This is left over from a bread warmers meeting a couple weeks ago.
Nicely done. I love that hat, dude. I wish I could do that hat. That's an awesome hat. Is it a real hat?
Yeah, it's pretty real. I've had this for about 10 years. Got it at King's Dominion at a senior high school trip.
Oh, nice. You ever use it outside?
Oh, hells yeah. Funny enough, my mom used it too a couple times when she was at church outside during like Memorial Day cookouts, evangelizing and whatnot. It actually does pretty well with keeping the sun off you, so definitely good.
All right, this is Dave Miles. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, man?
Dave is probably like, where's my freaking hat invitation for this one?
Yeah, I didn't miss the memo on the crazy hat day, but that's all right. Could be worse.
It's okay. I blame Shawn for that one.
It's my fault.
That's all right. It could be worse.
It could be.
Yeah.
Let me check this lighting real quick.
All right. Shawn?
Nice.
See what you started, Shawn?
It's not my fault.
I know, right?
It's not my fault.
No,
words, not my fault.
If David Miles go back and get a hat,
it is totally my fault.
Yeah, no hat. Sorry. I could have I got a ball cap, but it ain't crazy hat.
Brightmon is breaking up a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. I was like, what's going on here? Okay. You good, Dave?
There you go. Leadership is influence. We went from hat party to no hat party.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This depends on
depends
on what's in your coffee. That's all. I mean, it's if it's a 50-50 mix of coffee and Kahlua, then the hat party is on, brother. It's good. If it's more straight coffee and creamer than other, then we're just we're good without the hats, Just saying.
Oh boy. Let me see.
Sorry about that.
Shawn.
I wanted to go to landscape with everyone else, but apparently no, not today.
You're on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. That's why.
Yeah, well, that's why if you're doing it on your phone, it makes it a little tough.
Oh boy.
I blame the pandemic.
It's Corona's fault.
For some reason, we all sound like a video game right now. I don't know why, but all three of us sound like a video game talking.
I love it. Wow.
There you go. There we go. Let's go level 99, maybe.
You're breaking up there, Matt.
All right. Everybody sign off and sign back on real quick. Hold on.
All right, we can do that.
Let's do
it.
Wait,
I heard Shawn a little bit.
All right, I'll come right
down. Sign back. I would say down, sign off, and then sign back on again.
I was gonna be a log.
Technical difficulties, but coming back. Shawn?
I'm here.
Okay, that's better. I can hear you now. That's better.
Okay, good.
So we're gonna go. You know the hat thing, man. That's funny. I was gonna say, I'm down for the hat, but hey. All right, I got Dom back.
Right.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can hear you.
Good deal.
Dom.
It's me.
I was gonna say Dom is doing some kind of,
it's the technology slab. It's the distraction slab. We'll go with that.
So how y'all doing?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Everybody doing good during this pandemic? I mean, ain't nobody get arrested yet, did y'all?
What do you mean yet? What the heck? Ain't no yet or past or present or future. ain't speaking that one to existence, buddy. No, sir.
I've been staying at home.
Maybe some sleep. That might be different.
Yeah, you. Let me see. What's going on, Dave? What you been up to?
Just keeping busy, man. Just keeping busy. Like I said, doing a lot of stuff for the chamber. I've been helping them get all their virtual events back up and running, and actually looking to be hosting some virtual events for a lot of other folks. And the biggest thing I've been doing here recently that's keeping me hopping is actually hosting a bunch of virtual job fairs for the Employment Commission, different chambers around here. So trying to help get some folks back to work, man.
There you go. All right. Yeah. What's the story, Dom?
Man, the story is it was crazy. It was on 420, and we were all trees in the forest, and we're getting smoked for our knowledge so some potheads can see some UFOs. It's crazy, man. It's a tall tale, but that's one of the stories I got.
I'm done.
Well, you said about talking about Toastmasters, and you didn't preface it with a good introduction saying that there are, contests that we have, and they're tall tale contests that we have. And so Don was just practicing for his tall tales contest. Just happened to be doing it live on a video stream. That's all.
Don practices 24/7.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, Dominique practices his tall tales 24/7. And as far as what I've been doing during quarantine, I've been getting a lot of stuff done around the house, exploring new hobbies,
So, here we go.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I was going to say, there's a lot of aspects of public speaking that Toastmasters help with, but ventriloquism wasn't one of those that I remember being on the list. I could be wrong. Maybe I missed the memo, but typically they look at like your mouth moving and your hands moving is kind of part of the gig. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the new improved pathways. They go through their theater, and then you have like a whole section on dance and choreography. Toastmasters has just expanded their worldview. I love it.
I figured that it was probably their new collab with Jeff Dunham. Really? I mean, that's
yeah, pretty much.
I kill you.
Excuse me.
I love it, man. He's awesome. He's hilarious, man. He did if you haven't seen it, and I'll throw this for everybody out there. If you haven't seen it, look his stuff up on YouTube. He did a bit with all his characters about the whole coronavirus thing. I swear you will cry. It is so funny. I mean, it is hilarious.
That's wild. No, I'm glad you brought up Toastmasters again, because I find that I attended my first virtual meeting recently. And that was incredible.
Different.
Excuse me.
I will be honest with you. That's one of those things where we all probably to some degree should be good with, presenting virtually, doing things virtually, being on a live Zoom call, that type of thing. But man, we haven't. And one of the things with Toastmasters is really pushing you to get outside of your comfort zone with public speaking and leadership to, just kind of more or less improve those skills, but it kind of gently pushes you out of your comfort zone. This wasn't gently, right? You're home, like you can't there's no gently about this, right? There's like you better figure it out or else. Now, saying that, I'll be honest with you. At some point, you get tired of counting people's ceiling tiles and looking at the jowls, right? I don't care how many hairs up your nose. You need to trim that jank because you're home and you got time, right? So I'm just saying that I've been sending out these videos, and every once in a while on. Here's how to really make yourself look a little bit more presentable on Zoom.
Yeah.
That's what everybody looking into, just looking head on to the camera. I mean, Dom's got, pretty, the decent background and everything, you got to go on. So, you got this, you got all of it, none of y'all have a distracting background. I mean, everything looks good. And I mean, that's just one of those things where, like I said, you see people set their phone over to the side and like they're over here. They're like they're just working. Like they're not paying any more attention to you than a man in the moon. Oh, I'm still on there. Oh, hey, yeah. And it's going. So it's been tough, but it's forcing everybody to build up a skill set that we probably should have already had before, but oh well.
It's like the table topics of the real world. And COVID calls on you.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of how it goes. But no, we've converted our clubs over to virtual, and it's been a positive thing. And a lot of people have been a little bit iffy about getting up in front of folks, or maybe less iffy about getting in front of a webcam. But what's really funny is some folks that are really cool about getting in front of people, like, hey man, I'm not, no, I ain't good with the webcam thing. That ain't me. Interesting.
Learn to love your face.
What in the ham sandwich?
There you go. Got to love the face, got to love your voice, and got to make sure your background's great. Heck, even using the virtual background option if you have it.
Not bad, but I'll caution unless you can unless you like Dom could get away with it, right? Because you got kind of a plain wall behind you that's just one color. What's bad is when people have the virtual backgrounds and their stuff's all busy. And so Zoom just loses its mind and can't figure out where to like they put the little grass on, and like I said, it looks like the predator. The grass is all up in their face. It's bad. I mean, if you go do it right. Like I said, either stay real still and have a nice white background like Dom has, or if you're gonna be doing this for a while, like spend the $50, splurge. Get a little frame and a green piece of fabric so you can have a little green screen behind you, and that's pretty tight. That doesn't do bad. But I tell you, it's I've seen some of them when they lean forward, all of a sudden moving, the bun on their hair shows up, and then you lean back and it disappears. It's just all kinds of crazy, wonky, and virtual background could be a mess if you don't do it right.
Heck, you could say that again. That happened to me it was like last year. I was doing a podcast interview, and it was the first time I've seen somebody use the virtual background, and she kept phasing in and out of the orange screen. I'm like, is she a ghost? Is this a ghost feature I don't know about? So you're definitely right about that. I'm definitely got to have a clean wall for it to work properly.
Yeah, I laugh because there's so many that we're just cool with. You go to a regular business meeting, right? Or you go to a Toastmasters club meeting or somewhere. People are used to being able to interact with folks, in some kind of relatively civil manner in general. But, God forbid, you put them behind a computer in front of a little webcam thing, and they just, they lose their mind or forget that, when you sneak off to go hit the head, you might want to cut off your camera and your audio. Nobody wants to hear it. But saying that, I laughed. I just lost it laughing. I'm like, you know what? Even the people in the highest place in the land can still make mistakes. And they were meeting, the Supreme Court was meeting virtually, hearing arguments. And old Justice Sotomayor decided she had to hit the head. And so she forgot to mute herself, and you could hear the flush from the flushing toilet. And I'm like, that is awesome. So everybody's prone to just there's a heightened level of awareness, man. That's it. Just remember, there's some value sometimes in just muting yourself or getting rid of the webcam, and just saying.
That's probably the most strongly worded and short opinion on any Supreme Court case to date. Just a flush.
Just a flush, right? you suck as a lawyer, right? When you're giving your oral arguments and all you hear from one of the justices is exactly. It just, medicine is a promising career at that point. I mean, it's or IT or finance. There's options. But apparently, law ain't it, man. Just saying. So what kind of good things you guys got going on with your Toastmasters groups or clubs or things you've been doing?
Yeah,
well, Dominique was
the
the Toastmaster. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sure thing. So at the Randallstown Network Toastmasters, we meet every first, third, and fifth Wednesdays via Zoom. And it's been one heck of a success. It's been one heck of a success. And it's beautiful because it gives folks that practice to be able to communicate on video. And good news is nobody has flushed during a meeting, or at least nobody has flushed and made it audible during the meeting. So that's the most beautiful thing about it. Everybody's getting that
practice. What? And his audio kicks back in at the right moment.
That's what happens.
What does that mean? You said nobody flushed during the interview.
We call it a royal flush in certain places.
Well,
yeah.
Like I said, you got to make sure that you.
Very well.
It's very important.
So listen, guys.
What you got?
Talk a little bit about how. I know y'all was getting to know each other a little bit because I know Shawn and Dom know each other. I don't know if y'all met Dave or not. I met Dave. What was it, last year? It was an event me and Dom went to back in September. Just talk about it, all three of y'all. Just give some insight in terms of how joining Toastmasters changed y'all lives prospectively.
Go ahead, Dom. Lead it off.
Sure thing. So Toastmasters,
join
that. Sure thing. So Toastmasters, 6 years ago, actually, wow, almost 7 years ago. Wow, 2013. September 2013, I had to lead a public speaking seminar at my church in March of 2014. And I heard about Toastmasters listening to one of Brian Tracy's audiobooks, and it mentioned Toastmasters. And I'm like, what the heck is this? So I joined the club, Randallstown Network, and it was one heck of an experience because it really helped me to really grow myself as an individual, because one guy by the name of Joe Finn, he gave a speech and he started off with a song called Julie's House. And it led into this inspirational talk of how he actually beat cancer twice because he succumbed to it. And I'm like, dude, this is inspirational. I never heard a person start a speech with an actual song outside of church. And I'm like, dude, if he can do that, then I really am inspired to really join and learn more about what I can get. And after the seminar, my church was a success. I joined an additional club, the wonderful Catonsville Toastmasters Club, which is 20 years straight, President's Distinguished since it started back in the year 2000 exactly. And heck, even meeting wonderful folks like Shawn, who's been one of my many mentors in Toastmasters and in life, because with Toastmasters, if I didn't join, I would have never been in this conversation with all three of you at this point, at this time, because Shawn is one of the folks that helped me to publish my first ever book called Going North, Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself, because he came back from Florida when he was in the finals or near the finals of World Championship Public Speaking, and he refers to himself as the 13th best speaker in the world from 2013, plus or minus 8, because he would have made it to the finals, but the darn clock, he was enjoying it too much that he went past the 7-minute 30-second mark, and it was like, wow. But like folks like Shawn and all the other folks I met through Toastmasters, and heck, even joining the John Maxwell team afterwards through meeting other Toastmasters, really helped me to become better than I ever was before, because I already had a certain skill set before in public speaking, But joining Toastmasters helped me to really polish and sharpen my sword and really become better at communicating and even really taking a quantum leap in life. Because if you want to have a quantum leap in life, you have to join Toastmasters, because no matter how good you are at speaking, you can always be better. The great coaches, the great folks who are masters of their craft, they become even greater and they maintain their mastery by getting in those rounds and getting that stage time in. So that's really just a bit about how Toastmasters benefited me and really helped me to take that quantum leap forward.
Nice.
Fantastic. David, you want to go next?
Sure.
Dave, sorry.
A little bit about my Toastmaster journey. It's funny. In some way, shape, or form, I've been doing training since 1992, and I had a guy approach me, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years before I ever joined. He's like, man, you got to, let me tell you about this thing. It's Toastmasters. He was all fired up. He was all excited. It was sounded all great. And I'm like, for real? I'm like, I need one more thing to do. Like, I need a hole in the head, man. I'm busy. I mean, I just didn't see the value. He gave me the Toastmaster magazines. He was telling me all about it. He was all wound up. And I'm like, okay. Like, I've spoken, I teach at the community college, I do this training here, do this, I can get in front of people, whatever, kind of blow them off. Until I decided to go back to school. And we were sitting in this big lecture hall, and there was this guy from South Africa. And he, was kind of that like British accent kind of thing going on. And to say this dude was eloquent would be cursing him, man. I mean, this dude was amazing. And I turned, you think I look pasty now, man. I turned white as a ghost. I mean, I was scared to death. I was just like, if I have got to do what he just did 4 years from now, I am screwed. I panicked. I went home and I called my boy up and I was like, man, tell me about this Toastmaster thing. You're smart. I'm dumb. You're the man. I'm a chump. I'm sorry. Just string me a copas. I'm like, come on, man. Tell me about this Toastmaster thing. And within 2 weeks, I found a club and I signed up. I'm like, because I knew I could not do what I saw that guy do on that stage. I still don't know what he was talking about, man. $20 words are that long. It was just, I had a dictionary for every one of them, but I could have sat there and listened to him for hours because, it's just amazing. It just, I was floored. I'm like, I can't do that. But I tell you what, I've seen, and it's funny, I got there to Toastmasters and I was like, all right, man, I got this, man. Whatever. So, did icebreaker, everybody was cool. But then you do the first speech out of the old legacy manual and they're like, all right, come on, introduction, 3 points, a conclusion, blah, blah. So I got this. Wrote up a speech like they got on TV, I had there at the lectern, hands up there. I'm basically delivering this speech like I was looking off a teleprompter. And I'm being a little facetious on this one, but basically this Australian guy that was in our club, and he was awesome. And he was like, man, you suck. I'm like, what? It wasn't that brutal, but it was just one of those things that I finally, when he broke down exactly who's and what's and where, at some point I was like, maybe if I actually just listened and did what they said. And it was amazing how you just follow the program, do what they say, go through the steps, and then all of a sudden, a number of years later, sometimes you just don't even realize wait a minute, I just did that. And then also watching people coming in, my biggest joy in it is watching new folks come in that are just scared of their own shadow, and within 6 months or a year, just to see them just stand up on the fly and just comfortably belt something out and don't even think about it. That's cool. And they don't even realize how much they've grown, but you've seen that development over a certain number of years or a certain number of months. And then you remind them of that. They're like, oh, wow, man, they don't even realize it. But that's really cool to watch people grow and develop like that and realize that over the course of now it's been almost 10 years that, how much I've grown and developed and how much I can't do what I'm doing now for Toastmasters.
Very cool. Very cool. So a lot of great points and a lot of great realizations. Was similar to my Toastmaster experience. I have no problem being a ham But Toastmasters was more for my discipline. So I have no trouble standing up and calling the room to attention. I just didn't know what to do with the attention once I had it. And I think that was one of the greatest lessons from Toastmasters, is because there's a project in the old manual, the legacy, called Get to the Point, which I have trouble with, because I can talk and I can jaw and I can shut down a restaurant, but to get to a point and then sum up and then get to, where you just hit it and then shut up, that was foreign to me. In fact, the very first icebreaker I did, it's supposed to be a 4 to 6 minute speech, and I squeezed it into a scant 14 minutes. So my whole time at Toastmasters has been a time issue. And thank you very much, Dominique, for bringing up the time crunch, because it was 8 seconds. 8 seconds. I went to the stage right before the world stage, and I disqualified myself. So when they say that the journey is long and in the end it's only with yourself, it was in fact with myself. Yeah, it was a tough time. But my experiences in Toastmasters have been just immeasurable, truly. And I joined about 13 years ago. I took a short break. Don't quote me on that. But now I'm back and enjoying the virtual world again. So I'm excited, and I don't know. Toastmasters is amazing because it is all of. I never met a Toastmaster in a group that wasn't committed to personal development. Like, you go into any Toastmaster group, and the people in that meeting, not a single one of them are going to sit in the back and try to avoid things. Now, they might be shy, they might be introverted, but they came to this meeting because they wanted to change all that. So it's kind of like a hospital for the shy, if you will. And on top of that, it's just opened up a world of possibilities. I built an immense network down in Florida, District 48, woohoo. Of course, with reorganization, it might be something else. But then I came up here to Maryland, and we love 18, woohoo. And it was just a massive networking potential. And you've got this enthusiasm you don't find anywhere inside of for-profit business, because everybody is that, got that nonprofit gusto that you get for community, developing communities. So that's what Toastmaster has been to me.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, I gotta say, when Dominique first started bringing me to these things back 5 years ago, my grandfather was dying. When he first said Toastmasters, I was like, so we're going somewhere where people are making toast and they're the masters at it? Like, what is that?
Yep.
But because I knew public speaking, but the actual term Toastmasters, I never heard of that. It was like, so everybody is meeting and they're making toasts and making speech, and they're the masters at that. I don't know, but I learned what it was about. And one thing I've learned from going to these events, and of course, people saying I should join a group. Don't even get any ideas, guys. I'm not doing it right now. One thing I've learned is networking. Networking is really something interesting I've learned from what I've seen you guys doing and what I've been doing. It's interesting how I think I asked Dom this question before. I don't think I asked you two this on my show before. How you guys think Toastmasters would have worked if this was back in the 90s or 80s or 70s, before the technology we got today?
How you think we would have been existed in this kind of environment without this technology? Is that kind of a question?
Oh, hey, there we go. I honestly, Toastmasters has been around since World War II. In fact, fun historical fact about Toastmasters: there was no World Championship of Public Speaking from 1944 until 1946. They actually suspended the World Championship. Wow. I forget the year, but it was started in the basement of a YMCA by Dr. Ralph Smedley, who was trying to teach people how to become more business presentable. And it was males only until 1970s. And there are still some clubs today that are still male-only clubs. which is strange. But for 99.9% of the world, they, of course, are open and welcome to all humans.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, you didn't know you're going to get a history lesson. You're welcome.
No, I didn't. You know, look. I've been out of college for the last 5 years, so I haven't had to use a book in a long time. And I remember
That
interviewing
ain't no excuse.
Yo, go ahead with yours, yo.
Might I suggest Going North by Dominique Brightmon?
Oh my God.
Well,
That's right.
And
Shameless
the
plug
box for
alert.
Shawn
Shameless
Ellsworth
plug
Purvis.
alert. And then all but that, but shameless plug alert.
Hey, shameless
Here we
plug.
go.
That's how it
Here we
is.
go. I got this only book I got right now. I got to finish reading it.
So, Dr. Dave, have you written a book?
Yes, yes and no. I've got a book that I did when I was at school with a few colleagues of mine. Totally nothing anywhere close to that. And I've got two in the works right now. One, and I'm man enough to admit that I'm shamefully behind on all of them. I just should be taken outside and beaten because it's bad. It's just bad. I'm telling you, I should have had one of them done like a year ago. It's just crazy. But I have a book that I'm finishing with my podcast partner, Tom Borg, and that one I'm really excited about. And then I have one on teams, and that one is a little bit bigger, thicker, a little bit more in depth, a little bit, but that's a good one. I know it's not as cool as that. I can't put it in front of everybody, but like I said, you got yours done, and done is better than perfect. And so keep plugging the in. But yeah, no, I've got a couple of them. I'm hoping I should have been using this pandemic time to jump into that instead of trying to repivot some things. But cash flow is king, obviously, and that's an important thing, to be able to do. And we repivoted some of our business to be able to do most of our stuff virtually online. And then, like I said, found a whole new stream of businesses with the virtual job fairs and virtual events and stuff. So that's always been promising. But yes, have two in the works, and one should be done in the next couple of months, and then the other one on team should be done by the end of the year.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Little
That's
background. Dom has a special affinity for books. Dom, you going to tell him why you love the book so much? Not only are you an author, but
Yes.
you are a
Podcast host and a librarian.
librarian. That's the one I was
Listen,
going for.
This man loves books. Like every time me and him hang out, we go on Barnes and Nobles. You get in this car, he ain't got none but books up in there. I'm like, how much of this have you actually read, and how much you have not read? So yeah,
Yeah, some
No
people
judgment.
share recipes. Dominique shares his 100 titles to read this year list.
I'm not seeing the problem with that, and no shame here. Just because you got a couple of you ain't got two yet doesn't mean that you that they're not worth reading. You got them in the queue, ready to go.
right.
Indeed.
Dominique Brightmon wants
That's
to be
right.
just
Dr.
like
Dave is in the
our
queue.
current president.
Leaders are readers, so I mean, it's on the personal development journey that
There
you
you
were
go.
talking about with Toastmasters. If you ain't into books, I'd suggest easing into them, but that's something I would also challenge yourself on. And start reading some good development books, because there's plenty out there.
It is.
Amen
And
to that. Amen to that. Let me know when your book goes live, Dr. Dave. I'll have you on my podcast closer when the release date, so I can help get your name promoted out there even more when it launches.
Well, that works. We need to catch up soon anyway, just to find out some other collaborations and similarities, let's just say. But yes, that would be fantastic.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's going to be fabulous. Because funny enough, you got the same first name as my dad did, David. So.
Oh. Okay.
he's got the
that's
same
cool.
last name as most of my family.
Wow.
No, really. My I come from the miles up in Maryland, Pennsylvania. So
This is interesting that I got us all together, because I kind of figured everybody had knew each other, but I didn't know that y'all just met Dave. Dave just met y'all. having an introduction on my podcast. This is new here. I like that.
Well, there's
We're all
something to be said.
networking and Toastmastering.
Yeah, I was to say, Matt, there's something to be said about connecting people, and that's one of the things I love about the stuff I do with the chamber is that when you can connect folks, and it may not have anything to do with you, but you can, help make those connections. The way I look at it, it always comes back around. I mean, the more you can connect other people that can help each other out, even if it ain't got nothing to do with you, it makes all the difference in the world.
There you go.
I know, Dominic, this is going to be a strange term to you, and so work with me on this one. But it goes back to the thing of adding value. Okay, I know you probably never heard that before with your endeavors, but that's all it is, just plain straight adding value. So
nicely done.
JMT DNA, right?
AMT DNA, baby. That's it.
They're using code. I like this.
No, it's
There you go.
Code 007. 8675309. Yeah.
I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of nuclear weapons on this submarine, sir or ma'am.
I don't understand the joke, but whatever you have to say to make Dominique do that again, please do. Because that's genius.
Yeah.
Makes me a little happier.
We know Dom has his own comedic self, so when somebody else get him laughing, it's like, okay, yeah.
Well, he's normally a happy guy, and usually laughter comes from a place of sadness because people are just serious, and you got to crack that open, and then people start laughing once they lose their inhibition. But Dominique kind of lives his life on a sunny, happy day, so to make him lose inhibition is kind of like, I didn't know he had any inhibitions left.
I'll do that quick 3 times.
Yeah,
I know.
All right. Well,
Yeah. I often get curious. I often wonder. Yeah.
So what would you guys say would probably be one of the best things if you got all these guys out there watching the Facebook Live that they were like, hey, man, tell me about this Toastmaster thing. Since it ain't got nothing to do with jelly, butter, making toast, or anything like that, what would you guys say would probably be the best thing that if you could tell somebody that's like, hey, man, tell me about this whole Toastmaster thing, what would be the number one thing that would come to your mind that you'd want to share with them?
Well, for someone like me,
nah, man, you host. Go on ahead, man. Go ahead.
Man. All you, baby.
All right, man. Well, I was going to say, well, someone like me who been attending these events, if I wanted to share with somebody in terms of Toastmastering, I would probably, well, for one thing, I make certain that I got their attention, because attention is an important factor. And I would take pretty much all what I've learned in the past 5 years, and I would try to incorporate that into a lesson and pretty much give them what I've learned and point out other people in terms of networking, including you guys, of to network, to learn, and when ready to maybe try to do like a public speaking Toastmasters kind of event like you guys often do from time to time. And once they do it slowly but surely, they'll make it comfortable. I remember asking Brightmon about this before, like, do you ever get nervous when giving a speech, because you don't know if it's going to be a small crowd or a big crowd? But yeah, pretty much that. What I've learned in the last 5 years from going and give a lesson to somebody of what I learned as far as Toastmastering and how they can better advance themselves, to advance others to advance themselves, as somebody once said in the book.
Nice.
There you go. That's right. Gotta love it, baby. Who needs a cheap plug from yourself when others can do it for you? Gotta love it. But yeah, for Toastmasters, I have to say it's a leadership laboratory, because it's the best place to fail, because it's real, but it's not real. It's real as in you're really there. It's not real, as in you're not going to cost the company tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars if you make one mistake or decision. And
No
most folks are just
consequences.
happy that you're there. Exactly. Yeah.
No
Unless you do something really
consequences.
stupid. Exactly.
Your
Unless
boss
you
don't
like
get
show
mad
up
'cause
drunk
you
for
blew
real.
up. Your boss don't get mad because you blew up the meeting. Yeah, the boss don't get mad because you done ruined a client. You missed a sale. There's all kinds of stuff that like that. No consequences. Work out the kinks in the Toastmasters club. Get your eval. Learn your lesson. Tweak. Repeat. Go on about your business and then do better out there.
Remember, the
No.
mistakes made at Toastmasters stays at Toastmasters.
Well, it used to be that way. Now you got it. Now you upload your eval online to Pathways, but that's a whole different thing. I mean, so it's in the cloud. But yes, it's. But yes, that's the nice thing is it's not mistakes. It's just learning opportunities.
There you go.
Exactamundo.
There you go.
If I had to give someone an elevator speech about Toastmasters, I would say simply that communication is the basis of every single human relationship you're going to have. And Toastmasters helps you in communicating your ideas so the audience better receives them. Perhaps one of the fundamental lessons you learn about public speaking is not everything that you're thinking comes out of your mouth. And no matter how much you practice a speech and no matter how much you write it, you might get it, but until you hear what your audience hears, it doesn't matter. Because if you use those $20 words, if you're using jargon that people don't understand, if you are speaking above or outside of anyone's audience, their attention, you're going to lose your crowd. So Toastmasters teach you how to communicate in a variety of ways, and most importantly, how to be sensitive to your audience.
Well put.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it's amazing how much you do pick up, and this is weird. Like I said, that we end up having to do all this with the virtual platform that we should have already been doing before. But yes, it's amazing how much comes across just because of your tonality, your speed, your hand gestures, your body language, all that stuff makes such a big difference. And all these little things that you don't pay attention to, like we're going to laugh about it, but a lot of folks that aren't in Toastmasters don't understand that whole blessing and curse thing. You know what I'm talking about?
The blessing and curse thing.
The blessing and curse thing. Yes, it's a gift that Toastmasters gives you that is both a blessing and a god awful curse.
Counting of ums and ahs is one of them. You will never be able to listen to anyone without going, oh, wow, the president used 15 filler words.
Yes,
really
counter. The Wizard of Oz, whatever you want to call it, the counter. Yes. It's at first almost embarrassed. Like I had how many what? But
wow,
you start to see them gradually decrease. But once you become aware of it, it's that whole, I mean, from the neurobiology end of it, it's this whole reticular activating system. Basically, like you're looking for a red Corvette. Now you see red Corvettes everywhere. You're looking to buy one, you're researching one, you're looking at all of a sudden that's all you see is red Corvettes. Before then, you never seen a red Corvette on the road in your life, right? It's the same kind of thing. You've been listening to people on TV getting paid crazy money in there. And not even paying anything. You get awareness of that in Toastmasters, like especially when you got to be the odd cat and you're really listening for it. You're like, well, he had 16 ums and 17 so's, and a couple of times he double clutch where he kind of stumbled on himself, and you're having to keep track of all these things, and you're listening to them, and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, I'm listening to them, and guess what? Now I can't unlisten to them. You're absolutely right, Shawn. Then all of a sudden you hear everybody, you're like, that cat makes how much money, and he's on TV. He sucks. I can do that. It ought to be encouraging. Like if he's on there or she's on there and they're doing like that, I'm in good shape. Just hope for us, yeah.
That's kind of like what I feel about some of the people on the news. Those in the news that's making buku money, like some not all of them, but some of them I watch and I'll be like, that's not my style, but I can get on the news and do a little better than what they're doing. But that's another topic. I ain't even gonna get into that one.
Hey, talking about a red Corvette, the next time you watch a news program where two people are visible, watch the person that isn't talking. So everybody's got their eyes on the person who's talking, but just for a moment, put your attention on the person that isn't talking, and I guarantee they are looking at a 45-degree angle at that person, and and back to me. Again, funny. You look for red Corvettes when you find them.
That's hilarious. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I've noticed is, like I said, it almost harkens back to what's that video that you saw? It was a psychological experiment where they were like, look at you're trying to count how many times they passed the basketball between each others. Have you seen that one before?
Yeah.
You're paying so much attention, so close attention to the basketball, you miss the big gorilla that just jumps out in front of everybody and walks right there in front of. You're like, what do you mean a gorilla? Watch it again. You're like, whoops.
There's an exceptional book about human memory and perception called Moonwalking with Einstein. And it's an expose into the author's attempt to achieve the card memorization championships. There's actually championships that will give you like 10 decks of cards that are randomly shuffled. And you go through all these decks of cards and memorize the order of the cards. And the amount that you can recite afterwards will determine your ranking of memory in the world. They talk about things like Memory Palace, and they talk about the basketball pass test. And the book isn't only lighthearted and jovial. They talk about some of the real world tragedies that come from perception issues, when people are so focused on one thing that they lose all of the peripheral, if you will. So it is fascinating when you plug a book. Don't mind if I do. Thank you.
That's right. The surge protectors need all the plugs. I'm telling you, plug
Yes,
away.
do.
That's right. And plug it in too. Plug it all in.
One of my unintended consequences of Toastmasters has been learning the value of not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things
that odd counter thing, sometimes we're so used to stumbling over ourselves, that dramatic pause, you're just better off just stopping for a second and being silent. And that thing, he's deep in thought and he's contemplating what he's going to say. No, he has no idea what he's going to say. He just doesn't look like an idiot.
Yep.
It's called a tip, trick, and technique. Like table topics, they pull on you to say something out of the blue, and you're like, I'm just full bias, man. I'm telling you, table topics is probably the best thing of Toastmasters. It's the hidden gem that nobody talks about, because you got to talk for a minute or two on just something out of the clear blue air, and you're like, I wasn't prepared for that. But how many times you sit around a conference table and you're not even paying any attention, you're just flipping on your phone. Hey Dave, what about so and so? And you're like, coming back, repeating the question. Oh, that was a great question. What was that again? That buys you some time. Well, I'm just saying. Or if you're in the meeting and you're going up there and you're walking up to the very front and you got to speak, maybe take a little bit longer to walk up there than you typically would. All kinds of things. And then my favorite is, let's go and pure slam 100% politician on them. That's hilarious. That's my biggest. That's so funny. When you're like, that is a wonderful question about ABC, Matt. I am so glad you asked me that. So let me tell you about the wonders of X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z is the best thing for sliced bread in a second. You're like, but I didn't ask you about X, Y, and Z. You go on for 2 minutes about X, Y, and Z. Thank you very much. You sit down and you're like, it sounded great, man, but I didn't ask him about X, Y, Z. I asked him about ABC. That's what I mean. I go a full slam politician on them, because they give you a great sounding answer. It has nothing to do with what the question was that you asked. But you learn that kind of stuff and it's pretty neat to what you can pick up on at Toastmasters. Now, if you really want to get advanced with your table topics, maybe a little bit easier to do in the old legacy program, but sign up for about 4 or 5 speeches in a row. Give them a topic, and then just be like, all right, I'm just going to show up and do my thing. It's the world's longest table topic. Your 5 to 7 minute speech, and now you still got, all right, I got kind of an idea what I'm talking about. I got my 2 or 3 points, but start getting good at actually, and that's just an exercise. Once you've been doing it for a while, I would not recommend doing that right out of the gate. Please, God, no. Prepare for your speech. But every once in a while, just throw that in as a challenge to yourself, and that's pretty cool. And eventually, when you can get to the point where somebody can call on you, and you can get up like, hey, we need a speech tonight. We've only got 1 speech. Can you do something? Like, I don't have a throwdown speech with you. Be like, yeah, I can do something. And you can just come up with something that sounds relatively intelligent, pretty much off the cuff. That's a nice skill to have.
There you go. We've been getting a lot of knowledge tonight here. Dr. Miles, Dr. Brightmon, and the Perv and the Miss is giving all kinds of knowledge.
The one with the ring light.
Heck yeah.
Well, you can tell because of the glasses, right? It's
that obvious.
It's like we got a bunch of different music groups here. We got Paul McCarthy up in here. We got Michael Jackson here. We got Ringo Starr up in here, and we got Dr. Phil in the house.
I've heard of a lot of things, and I really like when celebrities go musical. I haven't heard Dr. Phil's CD yet, because I think that would be you need to watch your attitude.
But I'm sure somebody can make a compilation video of that, put in a nice beat, put in a bunch of Dr. Phil quotes in there, and come up with something pretty interesting.
Probably so, because I don't see Dr. Phil stop doing what he's doing to start recording the album. That's not going to work out.
Well, Dr. Phil don't need to stop what he's doing. He's getting paid, right? When you buds with Oprah and you got the show for that many years, you're doing fine, man. You don't need to start a new career with singing.
Yeah.
Besides, there's plenty of people that I was watching a video today, and they're talking about your passion and what you're doing for a living and different things like that. And talk about just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that you ought to be doing that for a living. Because there's so many people on American Idol tryouts that are just passionate about singing. And you think to yourself, do you have a friend in this world? Because nobody that's your friend has told you that you can't sing. Like, you would get up there in front of national TV and embarrass yourself, unless you're just looking for your 15 minutes of fame, or you. It's bad.
I actually tried out for America's Got Talent, and it took me 7 hours to drive from St. Pete to Miami. I then waited in line for another 5 or 6 hours. I was allowed to do 90 seconds of stand-up comedy, and the 4 people in the room watching me do it were instructed absolutely not to laugh, just to videotape and move me on to the next person.
Yeah. I didn't know that one.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah, my claim to fame is you can see half my hand in a publicity photo. So if you've seen that, you've seen me on America's Got Talent. That's right. Of course, I did show up right after the triplet violin players from Sweden, so I knew I had no shot.
I'm lost of words. I had something to say, and I lost it.
I really had some words about that, man. My claim to fame, right? I worked my whole career, and what do you got? I got half a hand on America's Got Talent.
That's me. That's me right there. Yeah, that right there.
There you go. It's like you're waving high forever as long as they use that footage.
Sure.
Oh no, there is no footage. It's a still frame on the America's Got Talent. I think I framed it with a big arrow pointing to me.
There you go.
Thank God I was tall. That's all I gotta say.
That's funny. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I know as far as my end of it, man, it's Toastmasters has definitely been a bit of a game changer. Like I said, you don't realize it's not like you flip the switch and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm a great public speaker. No, it's nothing like that. It's that slow, progressive change over time that sometimes you don't even realize is happening. And I know on my end, it's made a huge difference. So I'm always recommending it to folks. And, anything that, what I like now is the fact that with the new pathway system, you can really customize the experience to what you want. I mean, you can kind of make it your own. And that I think that's pretty cool.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of my selling points for new people to Toastmasters, because they have this idea that you have to speak about a certain topic, and that's absolutely not true. Toastmasters doesn't care what you speak about, provided it's not offensive to your audience. They just care that you're speaking about anything. And they'll teach you, no matter what your message is, to get it across in the most effective manner.
Yeah, you could talk about pineapples and chairs. Heck, even that was a table topic at an area contest I ran. The topic was chairs. The facial reactions on all the contestants was priceless.
Yeah, that's one of the butt hurts from. Sorry, pardon my language. That's one of the harms when you go from your club to the contest for table topics, because in your club the table topic is usually, if you had $1 million and you only had 6 months to live, what would you do? And then as you go up the competition, you get to the area or the division level, and the table topic is today was. And that's it. They give you no question, no sentence, just that.
Well, you got to be able to come up with something on the fly and just make it sound good. I mean, all you got to do is tap dance for a minute. I mean, Sammy Davis Jr. ain't got nothing on some of these people I've seen tap dance in Toastmasters. I mean, to be honest.
Hey, it's interesting. I mean, with what we got going on right now with this pandemic, I'm sure you guys are used to going in public in different parts in Maryland or in different states and doing a Toastmaster speech. I'm sure during this pandemic, that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about Toastmaster tonight, is to just pretty much verify how during this COVID, people can still do Toastmasters, but like we doing visually. So I'm sure this is a new standard for you guys. Dom, I know you and Dave, y'all be going to different places all the time, and now y'all doing it from your computer right now, because a lot of people are saying probably till August or maybe even next year things are going to be kind of the same right now.
Well, in some way, shape, or form, I love the idea that we're being able to do this virtual, and it brings out a lot of folks. A perfect example. A lot of folks in our local Chamber of Commerce will be doing these networking events virtually for them, a little bit different, but they would never go out and shake hands and kiss babies any other time. But man, they have been all over these events online.
Right.
I love it. And so you're engaging people that probably would never want to do that. And once they get comfortable, then, when things get kind of more or less back to normal, you're going to see a lot of people, feel a lot more comfortable with getting up in front of people and actually talking and doing their thing. But I think you're going to see a lot more of these continue, because before we're like, oh, there's virtual clubs. You're like, virtual Toastmasters, man, you lost your mind. You talk about virtual clubs. How you virtual Toastmasters? The whole point is get up in front of people and talk, and you just sitting in front of your screen and flapping your gums. Man, well, what? I didn't know about virtual Toastmasters, and now everybody's like, you have a choice. It's all virtual Toastmasters. Like, it's bad. All right, yeah, I can kind of live with this, and so I think you're going to see a lot of changes long term that I think are going to be positive. Although I don't know, getting some folks back to work wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying, paying some bills is helpful. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, it's
yeah.
Be nice to do a book signing in person, or I don't know. feel the warmth of someone else within 6 feet. I mean, it might be nice. It might be.
I mean, you could always like toss them the book, man. It's all right? You know, you'd be like, toss
I mean,
toss them the
hey,
book, right.
I've signed it and sanitized it. Go long. Go long.
Right. You got your gloves on, you wipe it down a little bit, you know what I mean? You sign it, and then you're like, here, you put the PayPal link behind you, like on a virtual background, as long as they paid for it, you know, you put a little banner up. There you go. Come up with confirmation. Yep, you paid for your book. I'll sign it, chuck it out there to them, and they're good to go.
man, God forbid you do that and you throw that and somebody got a bad catch and you throw that and it goes, you know, somebody else catch and be like,
Put
my
an
book.
eye out for that thing.
That's like
So
the
what
race
made-
with something in
poor.
football.
And what landed you in the poorhouse? Well, I put an eye out at a book signing. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
New York bestseller, but unfortunately, it's paying someone's medical bills. Yeah.
Right. We were viral at a book selling, but for all the wrong reasons, right? We put an eye out.
Yes.
The way y'all said, you know, that's like a Ravens game where they, you know, they throwing the ball, but the other team catches it and make a touchdown. You know, that's interesting.
Bad memories.
Throwing that ball and then you throwing the book and then boom, somebody else catches it or boom, see, ooh, knockout. I thought that was Donald Trump. Sorry.
Did you say you wanted to see an orange fella? Yeah, not a problem.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
One of the
I've often
Toasty
enjoyed
Tentacle members
Toastmasters.
has joined.
Yeah,
It's now a party of 5.
absolutely. Only one of us can speak at a time, though. We take turns. It's common courtesy.
Hey, you could be the yelling mom in the background. It's okay.
That's funny.
If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. It's Toasty Tentacle pudding.
Now we're
From
getting to the whole Pink Floyd thing, man. You were talking about bands earlier, you know. So you didn't realize it was going Pink Floyd.
I was going to say that Pink Floyd, you know, Shawn inspired that, man, but I stopped for a second.
Probably
There you go. He's frozen in time. I blame Disney.
Wow.
I was gonna say, don't let them get all that day. Put them in a vault. You're not coming out for 10 more years, Shawn. Sorry.
What can you do? You gotta lock them away, which is genius, by the way. It's controlling the market. But my gripes against Disney for another day. Oh well.
I'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone because who knows? They own everything, so maybe one day they'll buy my book. So
There you go.
I was gonna say before you know it, I was gonna say I never would have thought, wow, you own Marvel and Star Wars and everything. Now I say you keep it up, they'll be owning a StreamYard. You'd be like saying one thing, I really don't like Disney.
Your reception's getting real shaky. What? My ring light turned on. What the heck? All I said was Disney can eat my shorts.
And then then all of a sudden you're off. Done. See ya.
Yep, done.
Pick up a phone call. Hey, Google. Yeah. Like Shawn ticked me off. Oh, your videos are down, you're good. It's just you didn't meet the community guidelines, Shawn. You
got mousetrapped is what you got.
Right, you're off.
Sorry.
Hey guys, Jennifer Lopez or Eva LaRue?
Myself. Let me stop. That's bad.
I
That's
do love
very
myself.
That's a great table topics question for Toastmasters. And then you could go into thank you, like we talked about before. Thank you, Matt, for asking that question. That's a wonderful question. But let me tell you about reading for personal development. You're like, I look at the question.
There you go.
Question now. Well, I ain't answered the first one. Whatever.
Well done.
I'll make up what the question's going to be now. I'm just answering what I feel like answering because I'm leaving that one alone.
There's got to be a name. We've got to develop a nickname for the politician table topic, because anytime somebody takes a really well thought question, because I've been in clubs where people take their time, they write 25 questions that explore the four corners of the universe, and they're like, if you woke up tomorrow and you were an ant on top of a donut, what would be your first thought? And they're like, well, that's a fascinating question. So let me tell you what I was doing this morning. And you're like, what?
Right.
There's got to be a name for that, like a mulligan, but co-opted.
Mulligan.
I don't know, something.
Well, think about it. Well, that'll be a good one to come up with later.
Ah, that'd be a good
There you
tabletop.
go. Call it a Polytopic.
Hey, mobile combat. There we go.
Polytopic. That's a pretty good one. Tabletop to a polytopic.
Oh.
Nice.
That's a good one, Dom. I like that. I have to try that one out. Test it out at the club, see what they think.
There you go. It's like,
There you
yes,
go.
that was a Polytopic in action.
Yeah, exactly.
Would
Hey,
you like to
look.
answer that polytopically?
Hey, you know,
Hey,
That's
a good
sandwiches,
one.
man.
All right.
Portmanteaus. This is our bread and butter. Communication is based on words. Otherwise, we just start
see, Dave, we just met
growling
these
and
two guys.
barking.
I've known Brightmon for years, and Shawn I just met. I met Shawn.
20 years ago.
I've been dealing with this for years. Man, myth is a powerful drug. Please say no to drugs, guys.
What?
But listen, before
So what you're telling me is that the rings in the glasses ain't really the ring light.
Oh no.
That's the byproduct. Never mind. I was just curious. I was just saying. Okay.
What was that?
We have another Curious George in the building. I should have known.
Bad. That's bad. Well,
Yeah.
one of the things I'm hoping that we can do, and this is like a reach out to Clyde type of thing, but I tell you the district, the big District 18 training extravaganza that they did the last couple of years. One of the things I was talking to a group about the other day was hosting an event with them that actually had the concurrent breakout sessions, kind of like that did. That way it wasn't just like a full webinar thing. You could still have your keynote like they did, and then have your breakouts, and everybody kind of pick what breakout they want to do in advance. You kind of go do that, and then come back, and that kind of back and forth type of thing. It'd be nice to still be able to have that type of environment. And we don't always get everything's not exactly the same virtually or on Zoom or as in person, but you try to get it as close as possible. You really, especially like on the networking end of it, there's a few tricks out there that really make it pretty engaging, because you got 200 people in a Zoom room and you ain't networking with anybody. I haven't figured out how to get that business card through that camera lens yet. Closest I've been able to come to it is a copy of your LinkedIn URL, for your profile. I recommend that to folks, but but yeah, it'd be nice to make sure we have that same kind of training opportunity. At least with then, you may be able to open it up to some guests and folks that have never been before. Like, I'm not driving to Baltimore. And like, well, I can walk from my kitchen to my living room and turn on the computer. It's not as far as a commute for them to pull up at the computer.
Yeah.
It takes down some of the barriers, I'll just say.
Right. I had a guest star that was supposed to come on tonight, but he unfortunately was unable to give some more. He was going to talk about Toastmasters. Chris Jordan, he was going to be on tonight. He couldn't come on tonight, unfortunately.
He saw the hats.
Well, I know everybody's schedule was tight, but I'm welcome to bring you guys back to do another Toastmasters get together. Maybe one day next month. We all got a Tuesday available again.
We could do table topics.
Yeah.
Table Topics Tuesday.
Practice your polytopics on that one.
Try your
How many
polytopic. That's a
questions
fascinating
you
question.
completely avoid answering at one time.
and you're judged by how far away from the original topic you actually talk and link the two concepts together. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
If I had $1 million, let me tell you about the time I was almost homeless.
I think I'm going to do that for one of our table topics. Is do that be the theme? I'm going to ask you a question, and your job is to come up with something totally different. And we're going to vote on table topics. Who is the best
Lord.
based on how crazy from one to the other this was.
You know, that's kind of like when Shawn interviewed me and he asked me a question. I wasn't ready for it, so I had to stop and think for a minute, you know.
Oh my God.
Gotcha.
I paused like, I didn't take notes here. I don't have my book on me. Wait a minute, I got to go on north. I can check that real quick. What can I say to this question? Oh, man. You know, I gotta say too, and another guest I was gonna have on who couldn't come on because I told him if you come on, I won't say that you look like General Ford or Ronald Reagan. I was gonna have Clyde Middleton come on tonight, but I couldn't get him tonight.
Well, you had to work on that, man. You had to get Clyde on there. Tell Clyde I'll go be up there with him, man. So I got him covered, man. Clyde's a good guy, man. He puts in so much work for that Train at 18 extravaganza day. It's not even funny. I mean, he puts hours into that, and we all get a lot of value out of that.
Yeah.
And I love going there. And like I said, I love him to death, man. But I tell you, like I said, he puts a lot into that, and he spent a lot of time in the Marine Corps. And like I said, he's got his thing. But I tell you, he's a great guy. Like I said, we had him. He came out here to Winchester and spoke live at our Live to Lead event last year, and that was really cool to see that interaction. But no, he's been out there for a couple of years, you know, helping him out, and he puts on a great event. But he spends the countless hours to put together something that's huge value for all the Toastmasters in the district, man. So I'm. It's kind of the eternal grateful kind of hats off to not crazy hat like you guys have, but you know, just regular hats off to him. Oh God, here it comes.
Brightmon, right. Brightmon, where did you get that hat from, man? I never seen that hat before.
Yeah, King's Dominion, 11 years ago.
And wait, I'm sorry, where did I get my hat?
No,
I made this hat.
Yeah, I know that, and I was asking Dominique where he got his hat from.
Sorry, I was polytopicing someone else's.
That's right, polytopping. That's right.
I was polytopping.
All right, you know what?
Now it's going to be a thing, man. I don't know why. Now it's going to be a thing.
It's definitely going to be a thing. You got to make it a thing. That's you know, that is the new frontier. I have hashtag Toasty Tentacle, but any concept that you can smash together, that is the new idea box. You know, the way people race to new words and new concepts. It's a fascinating place.
We'll have to share that with some of our Toastmasters groups. But anyway, if anybody hasn't got in touch with the Toastmasters group right now, I would highly recommend they do that. I would say that they would definitely it would behoove them to, let's say, go to Toastmasters.org, check it out. Just Google like their city and Toastmasters. And especially now that they're online on Zoom, it's a little bit less intimidating. Like, okay, I'm walking into here, what is going on? So just visit one, check it out. You would be surprised. Like I said, it's well worth the time, effort, and energy you go to for that little bit of personal development. I'll be honest with you, man. It's the cheapest personal development that I've ever messed with in my life. But just as an FYI kind of thing, it's whipping me right now trying to finish this application with things, you know, with everybody being away. You can't just bring the piece of paper to the meeting and have people sign it. But it submitted everything, I don't know, about a month ago for my DTM. So I was stoked about that. Finally got it into the wire for the legacy program. So I was excited about that. The only problem is, like I said, my high performance leadership application, it was I didn't realize that was a completely separate application process other than just checking the box. You did it. So got the application done, got a few little things that I got to get it into them as far as that goes, but just paperwork at that point. But to be honest with you, that was way too long coming. So Shawn, when you said you were out for a while, I can relate. That out for a while is kind of a relative term. You know, I took a little bit of a break while I was taking a beating, working on my dissertation, trying to finish school. I'll be honest with you, but sometimes you got to step back to move ahead a little bit. But man, it's I would recommend anybody out there watching, check it out. it's a lot easier now to kind of get in and dip your toes in the pool and kind of check it out a little bit beforehand. But yeah, that was a long time coming, and I'm hoping it's not going to be as long time coming maybe for the next one.
Indeed. And I'm glad that you mentioned the Toastmasters website. It's not Toastmasters.com. That's actually a specific website for a club in California. But Toastmasters.org is the main Toastmasters International website. You can just punch in your zip code. You can find local clubs.
There you go.
One of the things you want to look out for is closed or restricted clubs. Corporate clubs, a lot of businesses will have their own clubs that are open. They're either open to only employees, or they're open to the public, or they have some kind of mishmash between. So, be sure to call them. And I would encourage you to not settle on the first Toastmasters you find unless you love it. If you love it, hang out with it. But realize there are thousands of clubs, and each one of those clubs has its own flavor and variety. So, if you don't necessarily love the first one you walk into, I don't know why, but let's just say you don't love the first one you walk into, try a couple different ones in your area, and I think you'll find different flavors for different people.
I would agree with that. I visited 3 or 4 clubs when I was living in the Charlottesville area, and before I settled down and onto one, and that, like I said, I went back to it. But the cool part about it is the first one I visited was the one I ended up joining, but I felt much better about it after the fact because I'd seen all the other choices that were out there. So I felt like I was a lot more confident in the decision I was making to join that particular one. So no, that's a great piece of advice, Shawn.
Thank you.
That's right. That's
There you
right.
go.
And
It's like a
of course
gym,
there
like a
are
necklace
ambassadors like Brightmon, who, as you're attending one Toastmasters club, will slide his business card from another Toastmasters club under your agenda to wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe you should try out our Wednesday club. So kudos
seen
to the
them do
VP
that.
of marketing. Well done, Mr. Brightmon.
Yep. Every
Well,
Wednesday is a Toastmasters night for me.
Well, the nice part is you can be a member of multiple clubs, and the cool part is that gives you a different perspective, different group of people, different type and style of feedback. And so there's a lot of value with being a member of a couple clubs, especially if you're one of the hard charging kind of folks that really want to hurry up and get finished with these different awards and accomplishments. You can bang out a whole lot of speeches and do a whole lot of projects, and like I said, in a short amount of time. But it's a little bit easier now to do that online than it was before. I'll tell you that for sure.
Right.
It's a different world.
Yes, sir.
Well, at least one thing we discovered tonight: the term Toastmasters is not a bunch of masters who can make a fine toast. It is a good conference get-together of boldness, positivityness, and intelligentness of a bunch of folks that can get together and speak their mind about a topic. And I had fun having you guys come on here tonight. It's been a blast, a real blast. We definitely got to do this again, man.
No, that sounds good. And if we can make up it just seemed like tonight's theme was making up words. Right, that's the cool part. You just,
Make them up.
polytopic or yes, intelligence in this, and you just make up whatever words it is cool. You just roll with it.
Right.
But no, thanks for inviting us. That was very cool. And like I said, anytime you can, I'm always excited about talking about Toastmasters, mainly because it's just made such a big difference. With I could tell such a big difference. I've seen it make such a big difference in other people's lives and with their careers and stuff that I just can't speak highly enough about it. I know Dom and Shawn and you were all the same way about that too. So
Right.
It's one of the cheapest professional development courses you're going to find, and everyone there is dedicated to your improvement as well as their own. So I highly encourage you to check it out.
very true.
Yes, indeed. That's
There you
right.
go.
The more you put in it, the more you get out of it too. That's what makes it even better too. It's cost effective, and the more you put in it, the more you get out of it. So win-win.
There you go. Hey guys, real quick though, this may sound random, but what is y'all song of the week right now?
Song of the week.
Any kind of song.
You are absolutely correct, man. I am glad you asked that question. That is very random. I'll just answer that one directly. I won't polytopic that one. That is random.
Song of the week. Hey,
I'll
Song
be
of the
honest.
week for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, song of the week for me is "Going North" by Dominique Brightmon. That's right. It's on audiobook, baby.
Shameless plug. Here, let me write that. Let me write that down in my copy of "Going North"
There you
by
go,
Dominique Brightmon.
Hold on a second. I gotta take the and drop this real quick. That was pretty good, man. I ain't gonna lie. That was a nice shameless plug, man, to end this.
That was beautiful. That was so beautiful.
That was a work hard, man. That was
I'm curious.
Weave that shameless plug right on in there.
Dom, I'm curious. If Going North is going to be a song, who's going to be the lead singer? Are you singing lead?
I'm the
Or
lead
is Shawn
speaker.
singing lead?
All right,
lead
it's already
speaker.
out there. I'm the lead singer who's not singing on the song. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, I don't have to crack windows or nothing. It's so great. The
Wow.
windows get to stay in shape. Your windows are safe, folks, if you listen to it.
I've been dealing with this for the last 20-some years, man.
By the way,
Crap.
his books are completely coherent, even though he himself at times is channeling the great lexicons of bygone eras. His books are quite coherent and straightforward.
Yeah.
So just, that's his eclecticness.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it keeps going down this road, it's gonna be like the drunk on In Living Color. Talk about making up words. It's gonna be that bad.
Oh my gosh.
Going.
That's right. Plebiscites ahoy.
Oh my gosh.
You know things have gone south, and you've gone over your hour time limit when you start going at that. You know what I mean? But no,
Sometimes Toastmasters involves alcohol. Who knows? Yeah.
Oh,
That is true. I actually did went to a meeting where the master actually did bring alcohol and everybody did toasts. So yeah, he did bring water too for the folks who don't drink.
Interesting. Well, I will ask the question: have you ever traveled before? As we wrap up, have you ever traveled before and visited a Toastmaster meeting out of town, out of state, out of the country? What's the where's the farthest place that you've gone and visited a Toastmaster club?
I'd have to say for me would be what's that? I'm not sure if it was Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, but somewhere. Oh, there we go, York, Pennsylvania. That was actually the same night where they had the actual alcohol for the actual toast, where they had a special meeting where they had all these directors and whatnot there from the district leadership, and they were gathering members and gathering folks for their contest season and whatnot, and try to chart a new club. So that's probably the farthest that. I'm probably sure you've probably went to Sri Lanka on Zoom, haven't you, Dave? Dr. Dave, I should say.
That's funny. So you're deep in the heart of Amish territory, and they bring out the liquor. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's amazing. You could come up with that experience. No, not Sri Lanka on Zoom, but I have been in Singapore in person.
There you go.
When I was at school, got a chance to go to a Toastmaster meeting in Singapore. I was there for a conference, so I got invited to speak at, and that was like a convention of the United Nations. Man, that was way cool. They had these really cool little signs that they made up, that had their name on it and whatever that, like the officers and stuff that they had lined up. And it was a long meeting, man. I would say you had to pack a lunch, but they provided refreshments. It was that big of a deal. Like they took an intermission.
Wow.
Crazy. But I mean, I said they had networking and kind of food and stuff ahead of time. And I said you come out and they actually had almost like a meal there. I mean, it was super cool, but that was amazing to see all that there. And this close to that, I was able to go to Oxford 2 or 3 times for a conference I was invited to, and to be able to go visit the Toastmasters Oxford Toastmasters club. They were the Old Town Hall, which the Old Town Hall for there is like $12.87 or some ridiculous thing like that. But it's not. I mean, but to see like the old wood, and it's where they used to have court, and they bring like the prisoner down from the basement or whatever, and they'd have us. The whole thing was just an awesome experience. And so, yeah, I would admit, if you ever go anywhere now, me seeing the Toastmaster magazine, just because you're persistent and doesn't mean you're smart. Because I could have brought one of them little Toastmaster magazines and had my picture taken, and then I'd have been in the Toastmaster magazine instead of going to these cool places and not even thinking about taking a picture.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah. I've tried to do that. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You trying to do what?
I was listening to what he was saying. I try to make that a habit to anywhere I go for Toastmasters or anywhere I'm experiencing the first time, to take a photo at least, even if it's one time. And I don't. What was the one, Dom? What was the one we just went to in Bel Air with Chris? That was what? This is before all this started. Wasn't it back in January?
That was MedStar. Yeah, I think that was MedStar Toastmasters.
Yeah, I think that's the only time I didn't take a picture. Unfortunately, I think I lost track when we all went to Bob Evans afterwards.
Now you're getting crazy, man. I mean, you got about breaking out the liquor bottle and Amish territory and Bob Evans, man. I mean, if nothing says it's time to party, like let's go to Bob Evans.
Yeah,
there you go.
Get their hot plate special.
Sausage, man. I mean, nothing like some pork sausage to just get the party started.
I don't even know where anymore.
I'm wanting confirmation that that's the case.
I don't know. I will have to tell you, it didn't take me very far, but one of the most unique Toastmaster experiences I ever had was in prison. In fact, it was twice in prison. A friend of mine, Jeff, I met through the international conference. He brought me down to Louisiana, and he works with a club that is in a minimum security prison in Louisiana. And it was fascinating because half the people didn't get to leave the meeting. And the speeches, the speeches were incredible. And to this day, I still remember the speech about a guy who's serving a life. I mean, he's serving multiple life sentences. And even though he's in a minimum security, he will likely never live outside of a confinement area. And he talked about what you would do if I gave you, let's say, $24,000. And he goes, well, every hour you're alive, that's an investment. So it was amazing to hear that the most abundant resource most of us have, especially in this time of quarantine, is time. Not all of us, but some of us have a lot of time on our hands. And to hear someone take the time to just say, if I were giving you $24,000 a day, you would sure sit down and plan out what to do with it. And yet every day you have those 24 hours and you're not planning anything. That's bad investment. That's a bad, investment management. And I went to a women's facility up in here in Maryland, and it's just the most honest and the most heartfelt Toastmasters you've ever seen. It really just blew my mind. Very humbling.
Well, gentlemen, I've had a wonderful night. Well, evening talking with you guys about Toastmasters. I've heard some incredible stories, and I'm glad that Dave, Dom, and Shawn, three of y'all. Well, Shawn, Dom, y'all know each other, but y'all met Dave, and I've had fun with this tonight, guys. We definitely gotta do this again. Maybe we can do something on table topic, something a little different next time. We'll do this. And Dave, in case you come back next time, Dave, I think in case Shawn and Dom start again, you gotta bring a hat next time, man.
Gotta bring a hat, man.
That's what I think, man.
Because these guys, even if it's a Ravens hat, you got bring something to the occasions, man.
I think I can come up with something. I'll come up with a hat. Might be a crazy hat, but I ain't got a hat.
There you go.
All right.
Well, listen,
Cereal Bob's
guys,
still doing a
Thanks
pinch.
for the invite, man, and
yeah,
look forward to talking to you guys again soon.
yeah. Listen,
That's
guys.
right.
Hey, y'all be safe out there. Thanks for coming on the PE Slick Podcast. Ranger Matt in the house. I'm signing off. And until next time, you guys have a good day.
Are you doing tonight?
Yeehaw!
Au revoir.
Oh, wow.
Chocolate samurai.
Assalamualaikum. Wow. I don't know what to say now, man. Down Brightmon. What can I say? Down Brightmon. He nuts, ain't he, Chris?
I don't even know.
I don't
Hey,
know
thanks for
either.
having me on, guys. You're
Yeah,
great.
no
Oh
problem.
wait. Now we can have a hat party. Now that the hats are gone. Hat party. Hat party.
That's right.
Hat party.
Magical hat, baby.
Hey, it's a rough world out there. You got to put a hat on sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta go the distance. That was a song they had in Disney's Hercules. You gotta go the distance sometimes. Yeah,
Gotta go the distance.
that's
Gotta
right. There we
All
go.
right. Till next time. Au revoir.
All righty.
That's
Hey,
right.
Shawn. Hey, Shawn, you can have something, and we can get David on. It could be like the group we did Fiasco. What the heck
Yeah.
is he doing?
The fistful of fiascos.
Yeah.
My phone's giving up on me. There we go. It's back. Yeah, we can do the fistful of fiascos, man. It's the best band name ever. Fistful of fiasco.
There you
Yeah,
go.
good times. Good times.
Yeah.
I
All
blame
right.
Lupe.
All right, gentlemen. Listen, y'all be safe, all right?
Thank you.
Say
You
no-
too.
Say no to drugs.
No to
Don't
drugs.
worry. Drugs say no, ladies say yes.
Bro, I often wonder about you. All right, man. Well, that was PE Slick Podcast. That was fun. We had some technical difficulties before, but we squared it away. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. Thursday, I'm going to do a podcast with 3 of my friends from high school. It's going to be a throwback Thursday with 3 of my high school friends. I'm going to try to do it on Facebook and not YouTube and see how that works. So until next time, have a good night now. Bye-bye.